afternoon and welcome everyone to this session. My name is Mariana Alvarez and I'm part of the Yalo team. I'll be guiding you through this virtual experience today. So it's a pleasure to have you here in this space where we'll be talking about a topic that we are hearing and it's everywhere nowadays, which are intelligent agents. We hear about them in conferences, in articles, in forums, social media. But the reality is that very few organizations have actually managed to implement them. And that's exactly what makes this event different. And we're going to show you how to take them from theory to practice. So during the session, we'll be seeing agents in action live, learning how to create them and integrate them into your organization, discover real cases from companies already using them and the results that they are already achieving with them. So today we have Mau Guillen, Head of Sales at Yalo, and Kristen Sarabia, VP of Product at Yalo, as our guest speakers. Before we begin, just a quick few reminders. You can leave your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box that you have there, and we'll answer them all at the end of the session in our Q&A session. Throughout the session, we'll be asking you some questions, so stay tuned to participate. And what we're gonna see today is not the future. These are agents working here and now. So enjoy it. With that, I'll hand it to Mao and Kristen to get us started.
Mariana, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate that you're with us today and in this edition of AI Agents Beyond the Hype. And there has been a lot of talk about agents, and today we're going to get more practical, focusing on leverage and put into production, because now it's time to stop the learning. It's now time to execute. And I would like to start with all the gratitude, with all the companies that are here with us, and we have been building Yalo since the beginning with all the heart and true to give you a lot of value to you with all the companies. And with that, we have been using and interacting with more than 100 million consumers, with more than 4 billion in transactions passing through the platform from Yalo, with more than 4.7 million active businesses every week, and in more than 40 countries, and we have helped companies increase more than 12% in increase. So this is just a real impact, and both in sales and in customer satisfaction. So let's now talk about a little about AI. And we are living through one of the greatest transformations in humanity and society. And I want to focus on what AI enables us today, because the future cannot be predicted. But AI learns 3 times faster than humans. In just a few years, it has advanced from being a school level to a PhD knowledge, and is already outperforming experts. Importantly, this is not only to get better answers in ChatGPT, Gemini, or any other platform that you use. It means that the ability to act, to execute tasks, program, create, and design. And we are going into a paradigm shift. Before, only people were doing the work. Then apps and websites, they were boosting productivity. But now, AI agents are handling complex tasks to work alongside human. And how we see that this is happening is that before or then, you will be having interaction with the websites and apps, and the humans were interacting with them. But now, how we see it is that agents will be the ones that interact with the websites and apps. And the humans, us, will be telling what our tasks and our goals to these agents, so they can go and find the answers in website, apps, or whatever they have to do it. And you see, to see about the business impact, this is some companies that have unlocked the exponential growth. And you can see in the left side, Meta or Facebook. In 2021, more or less, they invested in Metaverse. And you all remember everything that they mentioned about Metaverse. But then the investment of Metaverse was not the best one. And then they pivot to AI. And you see there in 2023, where the GPT launched, this exponential growth in ads and efficiency. And now you can see how can Meta and Facebook, they are getting this immense market capitalization. And then in the right side, we see a startup. This startup is Replit. That if you don't know Replit, it's a prompt to application. So with natural language, you can write a prompt, a message, and an agent, it will build an application, a website, anything from scratch. And in the moment they implemented Replit agent in more or less in the end of 2023, the stock and the valuation and the ARR from Replit went skyrocket. So this is how can we see that companies that leverage AI, they have an exponential growth. And also, we can see that the real challenge is that 95% of the implementations of AI fail. And this is mainly because of three reasons. Wrong tools, because as I mentioned before, it's not only to connect to ChatGPT or to Gemini or Llama or whatever to do it. No, you have to go deeper on that. Also, the second one is you have limited depth. And one of the main reasons is that everyone wants to do everything. But now what you have to do is choose a specific domain to automate deeply and go deeply onto that automation. And then the third one is a timid change. It's not a process that you have to redesign the process. It's not only to implement it, and it's not only to see where is this manual task that you want to do it, and then use it with AI. And this is just one of a simple example that we can put here. And probably this happens everywhere in the world, that we have to have a fundamental change. Right now, what happens is that they change the machine. So you can put the parking ticket into the machine so the gate can open. But now what happens is that the process was not really redesigned. The only thing is that you have a person, a human, that picks the ticket from you, and they will implement it directly. Today I was in the airport, and it was the same thing in the airport. You have my boarding pass was in my phone with a QR code, and there was one person in the gate saying like, okay, give me your phone. He grabbed my phone, put it in the machine, read it until the green light checked, and then I was able to go to security. So we have to rethink the process. We have to make a fundamental change in roles and ways of operating those roles. And I don't want to be super technical because one of the things that excite me the most is the demo and the solution that Christian is going to show you. So I will leave more time for that. But just for you to understand a little bit more about the architecture that we have at Yalo, is that on the base level, we have our model router. And this is how we can orchestrate different LLMs. It could be OpenAI, Gemini, Llama, or any other LLM. And we can orchestrate in the best way, because it could be pricing, it could be the benefit of that model, speed, reasoning, knowledge, anything. So we can orchestrate. So depending on the case, we are going to be able to use that directly. And then we have security. Also, security is super important because we want to protect sensitive data to prevent leaks. And we don't want to reveal a company's sales in a country or anything, or even sensitive data from a person. So that's why we have to leverage all the GDPR compliance, that we are GDPR compliant, and we have to go with all the GDPR compliance. Then memory, and I think this is important. I will spend a little bit more time here because we have three types of memory, and this is super important. And not being technical, we have conversational, that is short term. So imagine that you are in a conversation with a human. You have to remember what's happening in that conversation. Who is that person? What are you talking? So it's the same here with an agent. It has to have a conversational so we can understand. And if you change subject, you can return to the other subject, and it's in the same memory conversationally. Then we have contextual memory. This is how I call it, like long-term memory. So you have to understand that this person works in this company, they bought this kind of products, they have this loyalty thing, they like to be called like this. So you have a more contextual information. And then this is the foundational. And for me, is how the agent has to behave. What's the personality? How they have to respond. And these three memories is super important because with that, we can exchange between one app, it could be WhatsApp or a phone call or SMS, and you will be able to understand, and the agent will be handling these conversations. Then we have tools. Just super easy and quickly, here all the tools is how we can connect. We can connect to your company, to your sales systems, to your marketing systems, to all the information, to know SKUs, to know stock, everything that we have to see and know, we have to own it. But also the knowledge, because we want to give the information that it's accurate from your company. We want to give the information about pricing that is accurate, description that is accurate, information that is accurate. So we have to get that information from you so the agent can consume that knowledge to use it with the conversation with the user. And then we have a multi-agent orchestrator that, right now in any company, there's different roles. There's a sales, HR, supply, logistics, support, and everything. And there is no one person that does everything. What happens is that you have one agent specialized in sales, one in support, and one in marketing, and such as. And then if an agent with sales sees that they need a support more deeply, then it can send it back to the agent. And for the user, it's going to be a super easy conversation. And then, of course, we have to do the evals and tests because we have to test that everything that we're showing works and everything that it's evaluating in the right way. But also super important, the guardrails and bright guidelines. We don't want them to sell a product from the competitor. We don't want them to talk in a different way, just as your brand. So we have these guardrails and brand guidelines so we can stick with all the information that you want to be interacting the users with. And then the last one is the channels, because we can interact with any conversational channel such as WhatsApp, Telegram, Line, Yalo, WeChat, or whatever the conversational app that you are. Also, we can do it by phone. Also, we can put our agents in your website, in other social media platforms, and also inside your app. Imagine that you have an app, we can put the agent inside the app. And this, it could be multimodal, text, image, and audio. So that's something also super important to mention it. And one of the depths that we want to do is in the domain and task to be solved. And here we have our audits, that we call it our sales agents, that we went super deep to understand sales, service, like anything that for the user to be able to sell. They could be in services, retail, consumer, banking, any kind of things. We have this agent that is going to be super deep understanding because we will provide them into different tools. It could be a suggested order. It could be suggested information, upsell, cross-sells, and anything. And then even if the intelligence is artificial, the results are real. And what we have seen in the consumer goods companies, we have a company that has seen using $1.8 billion in sales using Yalo, and we are increase of 15% in sales. Then we have the retailers that are a retailer company that I have seen sell more than 500 million in sales, with more than 29% in credit line refinancing by agents. This is super important because this was a really manual task, and now that 29% is refinancing by agents, it have increased enormously the productivity of the company. And then we have a banking that with 28 million clients served and more than 200 million in loans placed. And these results are real and already in production, not just promises. And just to close this part, AI may be, artificial, but again, the results are real. And not only real, they're growing. So now I pass it to Christian Sarabia, our VP of product, and he will show us how you can use these agents in real life. And I actually asked him to build an agent for us today. So thank you so much, Christian. Up to you.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you here. Thank you for spending some time with us talking about agents in production, taking it beyond just simple demos and the hype that is going around, and letting us show you sort of how we're approaching taking agents into production to drive actual value to companies. So what I'm going to do today, if you allow me, is to do two things. I'm going to do an example of a sales agent, what Mauricio was talking about, of a use case we've gone deep about how do we recreate the best seller in conversational channels like phone calls, WhatsApp, and more. And then second chapter is I'm going to show you the platform where we build these agents. And we're going to build an agent from scratch in only a few minutes. But that's going to give you a taste about all the platform that we've been building to make agents reliable and effective in production. Okay. So with that, I'm going to start with first chapter, which is our sales experience. And for this, we're going to use a Latin American brand we work with that is a big company that sells dairy products mostly. And this use case is, let's say I buy products of their dairy products every week. Okay. So I get a message from the company that sends a marketing message in the morning and says, hey, you know, you can win 1,000 points with Lala Click, what they've branded this agent to be called. And your challenge is to make sure that your Lala fridge, your refrigerator is well stocked. So send me a picture. So here I'm going to be uploading a picture or taking a picture of a refrigerator with Lala products. And this is the first example of a multimodal experience. So I will be able to send text, I will be able to send audio notes, and I will be able to send images. So here it evaluates it on the fly based on some criteria I programmed the agent to evaluate. So thank you very much. It's well stocked, great with Lala products, but some products are not from Lala. So I lost some points there. So I only got 750. And then it asked me, would you want to get product suggestions to sell more? So the agent is able to look at what products are in my refrigerator and then offer me an option to continue. This seems simple, but in order to make this work, you need to orchestrate a lot of logic. So this evaluation is not just a simple response in saying, you know, you got X amount of points. It really comes back to company missions. And something that we talk a lot about in Yalo is the ability to let your company and you configure specific missions you want to drive and agents to help you drive those missions forward and making the experience really nice. So here, next, what we're going to do is say, I'm interested. Excellent. Let's go. And I'm going to say, show me. I want to start buying. Okay, so here I'm going to continue. It's going to be typing a response, and here there's simple complete list. So here this is simple, the typing indicator, but it's things that we've been doing to make the experience more delightful, while we may take maybe 1 to 5 to 6 seconds to prepare complex answers. So here I'm saying, I want to view the complete list of suggestions. We're giving the feedback of typing. We're giving the feedback of double checks with blue check marks. And what we're going to do now is prepare a suggested order. And the suggested order is going to be based on my order history, and it's going to be based on the priorities that you defined in the company to sell. I'm getting the image on my phone. It's not being displayed here when I display. let me refresh the view here. 1 second. And so what we've been doing is view promotions here. So let me just share again. 1 sec. A suggested order. So what we've been doing here is, let me connect 1 second. There it is. My bad on the connection here. Let me connect. Put my my passcode. So here, when I see, here's your suggested order to help you increase sales. So this image is something that we auto-generate that gives me a personalized order for me. So this is based on my order history, based on the priorities. It tells, you know, you can buy 10 Lala strawberry products. I suggest you to buy protein, 50 of the pasteurized whole dairy product. And I'm able to go back here and type, you know what, can you add 2 more of the full cream milk? So I'm able to ask what are relatively complex requests, which is I'm asking for a change of quantity of a specific product, and it's able to go check that product, go to my cart, and then update that cart. And I can do the same. Let's say I want to add 2 more of the sour cream. I'm going to do that on my phone quickly, just to send an audio note. Can you also add 2 more of the lactose-free sour cream, please? Okay, so I'm going to connect again. This is just a permission of when you share screen. It's not allowing me to send an audio note. Again, simple details, but we do a green check mark when we've recognized the audio note, when we've transcribed it, and then we pass it to the agent. It says, I've added 2 more of the Lala lactose-free sour cream. So doing this seems simple, but a lot happens behind the scenes to do this reliably. You need to transcribe audio, you need to transcribe text and images, you need to go and execute multiple tool calls. And then I can say, you know what, I want to confirm the order. And keeping track of all of this, what is my profile? What is my suggested order? What is the product catalogs that I want to order and that I have available, and the promotions is not trivial. So, and then here, in this case, it's going to ask me for delivery address. It's going to ask me for payment methods, all the things that are configurable in an experience. But this is not all. Something that we've worked on is making it multi-channel. So in order for that, go ahead with the order. So in order for that, for multi-channel to work, we've iterated a lot on that. The simple experience is, the simple experience is starting a conversation in a channel like I did and finishing the order. You can start in another channel and then finish the order. But something that we've iterated a lot is how can we make users move through different channels? And in order to do that, I'm going to show you a new experience where I just bought in a channel. And let's say the agent gets the products I just ordered, and it gets a list. It compares it against my typical order, and it's going to make a decision. Is this below your typical orders? Is this below your typical orders? Do I need to upsell you on something? And if it needs to upsell you, it may trigger in a new channel, a new experience to offer you maybe a phone call, maybe a message in a different channel to offer a very impactful offer to give you an upsell or a suggested order. Before I do that though, I want to show a little bit of what's behind the scenes here to make this work, okay? So I'm going to share here the screen of the Yalo platform that makes this possible. So here, I'm going to start showing you how this experience was built. And then I'm going to show the multi-channel experience at the end. So here what I'm going to say is, let's build a sales coach. Let's say I have this sales experience for end users, but I also have sellers that go to stores. And I want to coach them on how to be more effective. So here what I'm going to do now is, moving to chapter 2, is going to create an agent on the fly. So I'm going to say, hey, help me create a conversational agent to help coach sellers. You are a sales coach called, let's say, Johnny, and help them be effective. Okay, so I'm going to start building here the experience. And what this is doing is bringing the same innovation of an agentic experience to end users to a how you build agents. Being able to reason, being able to take action, being able to act based on your missions. So here it's evaluating your plan or your first set of instructions. It's showing me the reasoning of how it's going to set up this agent, and it's going to give me follow-up questions to build it effectively. And we're doing this sort of showing the reasoning behind all the decisions it's going to make. And it says, awesome, let's build you a sales coach, Johnny. It gives me a little bit of a summary of what it's going to do. You can also leverage your documents. Do you want to upload PDFs, text files, any knowledge base or scripts, playbooks, anything their company has to better train the knowledge base of Johnny? So I'm going to say, Johnny, train Johnny, give Johnny this knowledge base. So what I'm gonna upload is this knowledge base, just 20 tips for being a good sales coach, nothing fancy, but you can think of that as you could go and upload a bunch of valuable documents from your business. And I'm gonna do one just to go fast in the minutes that we have here, but organizing your company information becomes really critical as a knowledge base for your agent. So here it's creating both the necessary knowledge base, vector databases, tool calling to make this possible. And it says, all set, your document has been successfully added. And then which coaching mode should Johnny prioritize? I'm going to say maybe a daily tip nudges. I'm going to say daily tips and also role playing to improve. Okay, so maybe tips on a daily basis and maybe role playing to help me train, become a better coach. So it's giving me follow-up questions, just like a human, let's say a human engineer or human product manager would work with you on building the best experience, giving you follow-up questions, asking you for things it's going to need to create an agent. So this is going to be the last part before I just ask it to build it. But you can imagine, spending, half an hour, maybe an hour iterating on this to make it really perfect. And now it's going to say, you know what, for now, just create the agent as it is. Okay. So, I could continue saying, enable these 3 channels, add this relevant information, add this API calls. So something that's really cool and magical to see once you see it live is if you were to upload API documentation, it is able to read API documentation and create the necessary tools for the agent to operate. Something that an engineer would take days, sometimes weeks to do. And now you can do it sort of on the fly and really fast in minutes with the same technology you're seeing here. So here what you see is perfect. I've set up Sales Coach, and what we worked in Yalo is a concept we call a plan. So based on the feedback I just gave, instructions I just gave it, it gives me a plan of what it wants the agent to do. So it gives me a description, a set of tools, and I'm going to say, yes, I agree. I could definitely iterate on this plan, and we can have different versions of a plan. And that's how you start building. As you'll see here, it's going to build the first version of this agent. And then I'm going to be able to iterate on it really easily. So I'm going to give it a few seconds. Something that's important here is that on conversational channels like phone calls, like WhatsApp, like Telegram, we work a lot in making the latency really really fast. We cannot have users waiting for a message a long time. Here, since it is creating a lot of logic behind the scenes, and it's doing a lot of complex work, and it's sort of recreating a builder, we're okay for it to take more time. So as you see here, it's reasoning, it's doing a lot of work behind the scenes, it's creating agents, tools, orchestration logic. So we are okay in this builder experience for it to be a little bit slower. Now you see some confetti coming up. It's sort of our way of saying your first version of the agent is ready. So here, see here on the right, sales coach Johnny. Hey Johnny, what's up? What's up? And I'm gonna be able to this easily test the agent. And let's see, hello, Christian at Yalo. This is the email I'm using in the Yalo platform. I'm glad to help you today. I'm here to help you sharpen your skills. All right, so give me a daily sales tip. And you see how we generate buttons, we generate lists, we generate sort of the relevant formatting of the message depending on the channel. So here it's going to be a list, and it's going to say, you know, I want to talk about discovery, and it's going to be what seems like a very useful agent in a matter of minutes. So you can extrapolate what I did here in, you know, while talking live and sort of juggling a couple of things. In a few minutes, I was able to build a really good sales agent. And if you were to spend a couple hours, even a day, what you could build is incredible. And how does this work? Behind the scenes, what this just created was the sales coach Johnny. So all this prompt that you see here, I could write it myself, but the experience I showed you created this prompt dynamically. It created 4 tools, like a knowledge tool, a daily tip, a role play coach. If I go back to the agents view, it uploaded my knowledge base as a knowledge vector database. I have brand communication guidelines. I have guardrails of things I never wanted to speak about. And perhaps the most important, it created tools for it to operate, and take action dynamically. What this is able to do is, in a few minutes, I was able to configure an agent. It can run tools, it can run the knowledge base, it can go on multiple channels. And what we're seeing is our builder team be at least 3 times more effective and faster in building and configuring agents. And just to end, and we can move to Q&A, the process of building agents now becomes a lot faster in deploying the first version. And then every conversation gets feed into an evals tool that gives you tips about how to improve that agent going forward. So that iteration becomes incredibly fast, and you go from an effective agent to an incredibly effective agent in a matter of weeks as you get usage and drive that value. So with that, I do want to leave time for questions. So happy to jump into any part of the experience or the demo or the platform of how you configure this.
Okay, so so we have a very first question. This question is, a build agent, can we update or feed the new data anytime? I think this is a good one for Chris.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, so a build agent, can we update or feed the new data anytime?
Yes, absolutely. So something that we do is every interaction the agent has, once it has built, so you build an agent, you test it before going to the production, you go to production, and then you can either feed the conversations that are happening. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they performing? And that gets as an input to feed the agent again. And you can also add more knowledge to the agent. So something that we see a lot is we launch an agent and then users start asking for a use case that it was not configured to support. So then we add the knowledge base with more data. We add the tooling, and then we launch that new capability. So that is absolutely possible after you launch the first version.
If I can add
Amazing.
something there, because I think it's also important to mention, like how fast this the agent will have knowledge. Is that, imagine you have stock, or you have on non-stock in your commerce platform, then it will understand whenever you have stock or you don't have stock to show that information. So if you don't have stock right now, and then you upload more stock into the solution in your systems, then the agent will know that in that moment, so it can sell more of that items. So it's practically live. Whenever they can upload more information, you will be able to see it with the agent.
Okay, great. So we have another question, which is, what happens if a store starts asking questions that are not related to the agent? For example, things not allowed by the law.
Yes, that's a great question, and something that we take very seriously, and that is typically falls in what we call guardrails. Guardrails, you can think of it as instructions of what you do not want the agent to talk about. So things like politics, religion, talking negatively about brands. So you can configure a specific set of things you do not want it to talk about, either, and it could be specific examples or categories. And you can think of it before we send a message outbound, the last thing we do is we check against these guardrails. Is the message that the agent generated as a response after the tool calling and after going to the knowledge, does it violate the guidelines and guardrails? If it violates it, we give you a fallback message. Sorry, that goes beyond my capabilities. Please ask something else. And we take that very seriously because the agent is representing a brand with end users. So that's what we built, and it's working effectively. And if you ever see a response that you don't like, you can also add it as a new guardrail and launch it in a matter of minutes.
Great. Okay, we have another one from Hilton. So can you connect to an external database or API to get live data about the product inventory balance or even the client available credit?
Yes, absolutely. What I showed about tool calling is what allows you to interact with external services, the most common one being APIs. So if I were to share here again, what I showed in our agent platform, the section of tools, this is where if I were to create a new tool, this is an example of a get weather function. If I could go to an API to get a weather, I can go get an order, I can go fetch the customer profile, I can go update things. And what's sort of in vogue now in the industry is an MCP connection. MCP is a new protocol in the industry where you can expose APIs or databases or information in a protocol that agents really understand. So that is, taking action in APIs or databases is what makes an agent real and beyond just generating text. It's the ability to take action. So it can absolutely do that. And that is sort of a core capability of what we built.
Great. Okay, we have one more from Rohit. Can you, no, sorry. Will it support local languages of India?
Yeah, so the amount of languages it supports, it's really big. More than 100 languages, not just languages, but also accents. something that we've iterated a lot is the style. Is it formal? Does it have the accent of a specific region? Do you want it to be more casual? So it's a lot of things that you can configure. I don't know by memory the hundreds of languages, but the availability is really large, and happy to do a follow-up and show you examples of the languages that are supported. But we've done really good performance on many languages. And it's also goes back to multimodal. It applies to phone calls. It applies to voice notes. And it also applies when you write things on a piece of paper, or say you're taking notes and you take an image. That transcription of the image is also sort of multi-language. So it is really, part of the amazing things of AI is it gives you that multi-language capability.
Great. Another one from Rohit. Can it read handwritten documents?
And so, and one more, yes, it supports handwritten documents. When we take a picture or we read an audio note, we really just transcribe that into a format that the agent can understand. So yes, and I just did a search here of some of the languages that we support, related to India. So Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali, Marathi, so Punjabi. There's a lot. The array of languages that we support are quite a lot. And again, happy to do a follow-up and show you live some of this experience.
Great. We have one more. So how this will work with on-premise databases?
Yep. So we're really flexible in how to connect to services. So connecting to on-premise, there's multiple ways of doing it. As long as we just build a way for the agent to make the necessary tool calling, it can definitely operate. So I'm trying to think how there's different ways of connecting to databases, both on the cloud and on premise, and we try to abstract that complexity and make it really customizable.
Great. Okay. I think we have time for 2 more questions. So another question is, will we need to train the AI for our particular work process, or will your team help?
Yeah, so we can give you the option of helping configure the agent with our team, and we can give you also the option of teaching you and training you how to build on the Yalo platform. So you have both options. Our team, has been building and deploying agents for a lot of different use cases, a lot of different types of integrations. So we are able to help a lot on that onboarding process and that implementation. So we offer that option. And we also offer the option of training you on the platform.
Great. So I think Rohit wants to know about the pricing. I think Mau can give you a follow-up after the session to talk more about it. I think that we have, you can have particular questions that can be solved in a one-on-one session. And then I would like to do a last question regarding on how are promotion and discount strategies integrated? Does it require pre-existing records, or can it understand guidelines related to increasing volume or product coverage?
That's a great question, and something that we've iterated a lot on. So short answer is yes, it can support promotions and quite complex promotional rules. The way you get that to be enabled is you need to be able to just give the agent very specific instructions on the logic of each promotion type. So you need to be able to describe it clearly. This product, if you buy 3, you get 20% off of this other SKU. That description has to be well explained to the agent a set of instructions. And then your systems where we're gonna insert the order or get the promotions have to have those promotions available as well. And our sales agent now supports more than 50 types of promotion types that we have in production now that we've customized to different customers, complex rules in terms of quantities, in terms of volume, in terms of combos. So there's a long list of types of promotions and budgets that we can manage. And it all just comes back again to a clear set of instructions of what you want the agent to follow, just like you would give instructions to a human, and then ensuring that your services have support for those promotion rules. With those two things, it is able to handle it extremely effectively.
Chris, and based on marketing automation, I think we have one last question that it can be related of what you were talking about, and is, does the agent support marketing automation?
Yes, absolutely. I think the first example I showed was an outbound message. So the experiences typically start with the agent taking action. So saying, hey, good morning. This is something relevant for you today. And what is really amazing in this era of AI is the agent can take on vast amounts of context and data, and so things around what is the mission of your company, what are the channels that you support in your marketing automation strategy, and what is the customer profile, where do they typically answer, and based on all of that, the agent can say, send a marketing message in this channel, or send an offer to upsell in this other channel in the afternoon. So it can interact with, we have marketing automation capabilities in Yalo that agents work on top, and we can also integrate other marketing tools for the agents to operate.
Great. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of the session. We want to thank you for joining us today, and most importantly, for being open to explore how intelligent agents can transform the way you sell, serve, and operate businesses. The key takeaway is this is just not a concept or a promise. It's really already being implemented and generating impact in leading companies, consumer good companies, and other industries. So thank you very much, and see you soon. You're going to see a QR code in screen, so if you want to continue the conversation. Thank you very much, Mao, Chris, and see you in another opportunity.